All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on Fineprint tonight. The new government that will take charge in Islamabad and Pakistan will have to hit the ground running. Now, Pakistan's economic challenges aren't going away anytime soon. Budgeting and managing finances is an eye-watering puzzle that an average Pakistani household needs to solve every month. Well, the government finances at this moment are in a complete tailspin. And to make matters worse, today the caretaker government has announced a massive hike in gas prices. The price of natural gas has been hiked by nearly about 67%, and the hike is in line with the demands of the International Monetary Fund. Now, the IMF has laid out some very specific instructions for Pakistan to remove subsidies. It has also demanded for the restructuring of state enterprises and energy rationalization. In Islamabad, the Sharifs and the Zardaris have managed to cobble up a sort of a coalition. But the question is this: will the umbrella government be able to tackle the great fiscal challenge that is on hand? Now, remember, the Pakistani caretaker government took charge last August. They've been gradually implementing the IMF loan conditions, which helped them keep a very close bankruptcy at bay. The task for the new administration will be to secure a new and a much bigger IMF bailout.
I think they must have to deal with IMF because this is the major thing for the upcoming government, because our current IMF program is the standby agreement program is maturing in March, April, and they have to come up with a new program which will be the larger program, around 2 to 3 years, I think 3 years program, where they have to take $6 to $8 billion of funding, and they have to execute various structural reforms in that program.
So how bad is the situation in Pakistan at the moment? Well, the foreign exchange reserves stand at roughly about $8 billion, and this is enough for essential imports for only 2 months. The Pakistan's debt to GDP ratio is already above 70%, but after making interest payments on its debts, it'll dip to just 50%. And this is the worst ratio for the economy of Pakistan's size in the world. A combination of tax and gas tariff hikes and also a steep fall in the rupee currency has pushed inflation to nearly about 30% year on year. Experts are now saying that the Pakistani rupee could in fact fall further. The next question is, does the new government have a plan to bring back the economy onto track?
We can only hope for the best. The past government of Shehbaz Sharif and the caretaker government were bad. The people were crushed under inflation. They would not reduce the price of petrol even when the prices fell on the international market. They raised the price of electricity and gas. We hope that the new government will make good policies and provide relief to the people so that the country can progress.
A new government is forming and we welcome it. But Pakistan will only come out of problems if they join hands by putting aside their personal issues. Otherwise, no single person has a solution. We hope a lot from the upcoming government, but there are tough challenges ahead, like dealing with the IMF. There are other important things, and the most important is the economy, which needs a boost.
And also to give us more perspective in terms of what is happening at this moment in Pakistani politics, we're being joined by Mr. Adnan Kaisar, who is a foreign affairs expert. He's joining us live from Islamabad. Now, Mr. Kaisar, what is unfolding in the aftermath of this very fractured verdict has thrown up a lot of permutations and combinations in terms of which the parties, different parties are coming together. Help us try understand, who at this moment is talking to each other in terms of government formation, and also the fact that the PTI, it appears, is talking to a lot of these other fringe religious parties, is a very interesting development that is happening in Pakistan at the moment.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me in your program, Saleh. Good to be with you, and good evening to all your viewers. So first of all, understand that things are being laid out pretty well. Although it's pretty delayed, results have poured in, and but this is not unique to Pakistan that the results are announced immediately. So there are always delay. In 2018, we also saw that the results were delayed, and there had been massive accusations of rigging. So first of all, understand that Pakistan's democracy and the politics and the elections have been following the definition of Einstein, repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So unfortunately, Pakistan has structural problems, and the first and fundamental among them is the Constitution of Pakistan. Constitution of Pakistan is a feudal in nature, so that is one of the fundamental aspects. I don't want to go into the details of the political problems, but the problem is when everyone talks about the structural reform, so no one is addressing the structural problems. So Dr. Ishrat Hussain, a very renowned economist, had written a book, Governing the Ungovernable. So Pakistan had become an ungovernable state at this moment because of its constitutional anomalies. And so which no one has been addressing. So everyone has been making piecemeal efforts to like a band-aid arrangement for politics and this and that. So with regards to the government in place, I think that the lines have been clearly drawn. People Party and PMLN, they had been a coalition partners in PDM government as well, and they had a charter of democracy in 2006. They had been the beneficiaries of NRO in 2007. So they had been having a friendly opposition. So they are probably...
Mr. Kaisar, if I can just interject there. You're talking about the many structural challenges, but looking at what is unfolding in Pakistan at this moment, Nawaz Sharif came back in the hope that he would, of course, storm to power and possibly form the government. But what is happening is no one really, it appears, at this moment wants to take charge of a country that is staring at a lot of problems. Nawaz Sharif does not want to be the Prime Minister. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari doesn't want to be the Prime Minister. Shehbaz Sharif is the one who's being prodded forward. Why is it that no leader is willingly taking charge of a nation, considering the many challenges that Pakistan is confronted with?
So first of all, please understand, there is a lot of polarization taking place in the country. The country has been dissected on political lines. There have been PTI followers, and there have been those followers of the discredited political parties. So People's Party and the Nawaz League had been discredited, but they still have some following. And there is a new thought, or a young population. They are totally, fed up with the politics of former years, and they would like to have a revolutionary kind of a politics, which Imran Khan had been promising, although he could not deliver in the past 2.5 years of his term in office. But again, there are hopes. The young population would like to have a new leader in place. But because of the polarization and the legitimacy questions, the most important is the elections legitimacy, and the new government which is going to take over the government or the office, there would be serious question marks on the legitimacy of that government. So nobody is going to accept that. And then perhaps Pakistan has to go back again to the drawing board and carry out an elections in 6 months or a year time.
I think you're raising questions about the legitimacy of the government that will take charge in Islamabad, and this is a sentiment which appears to be echoed by the PTI, which has now gone on to state that parties that are involved in regime change have no right in government formation. So even speculatively speaking at this moment, if the PMLN and the PP were to form the government, do you expect protests to continue across Pakistan for the foreseeable future?
Well, Pakistan's neither the government is going to be run efficiently or effectively, nor the economic stability is going to come. So please understand, the PTI has today announced very clearly that it is going to sit in the opposition, both in the federal government as well as in the Punjab provincial government. So with that, a formidable force in the opposition, with the population, the young population, deeply antagonize against the current practices and the government in office. So I don't think there is going to be a political stability in Pakistan.
Right.
And with the political instability, I don't see any economic stability coming. We have seen that the debt has risen to 81 trillion rupees, and people are shifting their businesses to Dubai.
I think that's an important point that you've raised there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kaisar, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
My pleasure having you. Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.